Hi, welcome to our second Lenten reflection, Fireside Chat. My name is Msgr Fernando and pastor of Immaculate Conception Church in Astoria. I want to start by talking about food. Everybody loves food. Everybody has favorite foods, and we make sure that we eat every day. Because if we don't eat every day, we get sick. And so we don't want to get sick. And so, plus eating is such a pleasurable thing. It's wonderful. I have here some of my favorite things is fruit, like a beautiful apple or a wonderful succulent orange. Bananas come in very handy. They're very easy to open up. Somebody termed fruit nature's candy, and it is in many ways, and they're healthy and it's good for you. But we all have our favorites and our not so favorites. So one of the things we often do around Lent is two Catholics greet one another and they say, "Oh, I'm going through Lent." "Yeah, me too." "What did you give up?" That's always the question. What did you give up? There are lots of things we can do for Lent, but sometimes the thing that stays in our memory is what we gave up. Usually, hopefully, it's something that we like to eat. I remember going to a classroom once of little kids, and I said, "What are you giving up for Lent?" And one of them raised their hands as Brussels sprouts. And I said, "Do you know what a Brussels sprout is?" "Yes." "I hate it." I said, "Well, that's not a sacrifice if you give up Brussels sprouts. You have to give up something you like." "What do you like?" "Pizza." I said, "Why don't you give up pizza?" "No way, no way." But the thing is, our connection with food is very elemental. From the very beginning of after our birth, we are feeding. Feeding is a very important part for a baby's life, and then the baby graduates to liquid food and then to solid food, and everyone has their favorites to eat. So when we talk about fasting, we're talking about taking away something that is really important to us. And that's an essential. If an orange is important to you, you like to eat orange once a day, and you give that up, that means a lot, because you're saying to God, it's so important that I'm willing to give up something that I really love. That's kind of a basic thing, because food is elemental. We don't give up eating. And certainly fasting is not dieting. The purpose of dieting is to lose weight. But the purpose of fasting is not to lose weight. That might be a byproduct. But the purpose of fasting is to say to God, you are more important than food. And if we say that God is more important than food, we're saying a lot, because food is essential for us. So we're saying to God and to ourselves primarily, God is so important to me that I'm willing to sacrifice eating steaks, pizza, whatever, chocolate, for the higher purpose of saying to God, you're the tops. You're the top of the heap. Nothing is more important than you. That's a hard thing to do, especially if we give up something that we really like. So the fasting is an important set. And when you fast from food, let's say you fast by taking out one of the meals that you usually eat. You feel it. You feel it in your stomach. You feel it all the time, because you can't wait until you sit down. And then when you sit down to eat, you eat with more gusto, because you realize how much you like food, how much food is necessary, and because you've spent all day with hunger pains. It also gives us fasting, by the way, connects also with the poor of the world, and realize that we choose to fast. And we're all, to a certain extent, dieting in some way. And those are all choices we make. But there are poor in the world that don't make those choices. They go to bed hungry because there is no food. And so one of the things that fasting is supposed to do is get us to realize how important food is, and to try to help those people, maybe with our mite box or our rice bowl, to help the poor of the world. Because, boy, hunger is not a fun matter. It is really serious. So you decide to fast. Now, fasting from food is one thing because food is so important, and that's worldwide. The Jews fast on Yom Kippur, the Muslims fast on Ramadan, we fast during Lent. Because fasting from food is one of the most universal things we can do. But every one of us has sort of an internal hierarchy of things that are important to us. For some of us, of course, food is always up there. But for some of us, it's sports. Maybe we watch sports an awful lot. Or maybe maybe it's TV. Or maybe it's the internet. Or maybe it's our smartphone, the use of our smartphone. We think that those stuff is essential. Fasting could also mean I'm not watching cable for 40 days. What? That's a kind of fasting. You're saying to God, you're more important than me watching television. Or you're more important than me checking my phone all the time. I'm going to, in Lent, every Friday, fast from my phone. I'm going to put it away. Tell all my friends, don't call me on Fridays, because I'm going to do without it. That's a big sacrifice. So fasting is doing without. You're saying in your internal hierarchy of values, you pick something that's really up there and you say that God is higher. God is higher. That's the whole idea of fasting. And what that ends up doing is it ends up making you more aware of the beauty and how much you enjoy something. Let's say you enjoy watching sports, and you do without it all of Lent. Boy, when you go back to watching a football game or a baseball game or whatever it is your sport, you really appreciate it. Because I miss this so much. I love baseball. I love, whatever that thing is that you gave up. So fasting does help you to appreciate what you have and what you enjoy. But it also says that God is more important. And that's the whole point of that. I remember I had a retreat when I was in the seminary, and a retreat master said that an ascetic, meaning a monk that lives a kind of a very simple lifestyle, an ascetic can get more pleasure out of one martini than someone can get who doesn't appreciate, can have a whole barrel of martinis, but after all does not appreciate them at all. That ascetic, or that doing without, is important because it makes that entity, that thing, even more attractive to the person. And so if you give up an orange, boy, when you at the end of Lent you have your first orange, you savor every bite because you have done without it. And so it helps you in terms of social justice to understand what other people go through, not through choice, but through necessity. It helps you to appreciate what you have. And it also makes you understand that God has to come first. Because in the end, we have to be detached from everything. In the end, we have to let go of everything. And fasting is a kind of a letting go of what we really value. Letting go is a hard thing to do, but letting go is the most important thing we do. We are born and we let go of the womb where we were safe and nurtured and warm. And when we die, we let go of this life. So both birth and death is a letting go. Fasting is a kind of a smaller letting go that we train ourselves to have. So look at Lent as a great opportunity for spiritual growth. And the way we encounter the things we sacrifice will help us during Lent to appreciate what Easter is all about. God bless you, and have a wonderful, wonderful Lent.